What's up, YouTube? It is your boy JB, and we are here today with VH1's Family Reunion Love and Hip Hop Edition, you guys. This is season 2. This is episode 7, and the episode is titled Pride and Prejudice and Ladybuggate, you guys. So, before we go ahead and jump into this review, if you guys are watching this video or any other on the channel and are not subscribed to the channel, that means you guys are doing me a big favor and stop taking me out on this date and having me pay for it at the end of it. Do me that favor by liking the video, you guys. Subscribe to the channel, turn on your notification bell button, sharing the video, you guys. And with that out of the way, without further ado, let's discuss VH1 presents VH1's Family Reunion Love and Hip Hop Edition, you guys. All right, you guys, so this episode, it opens up where the last one left off, which I don't know why. And you guys remember last week's episode left off with Safari and Cisco getting into the argument, right? And I still don't know why we picked up with this. Cisco and his timing is just shitty, piss poor, whatever you want to call it, right? And, you know, after they break them up, we know Peter is talking to Cisco and asking Cisco, like, what happened, basically. And he also told Cisco, like, dude, timing. Safari is going through some shit with Erica, and then here you come talking to him about a party that he didn't come to for Deb Atney. Cisco, my dude, he's like, it ain't that deep, right? So then we see Marcus, we see Stevie, we see a lot of people that are talking to Safari about the situation, right? He's explaining to him, again, like I said, you guys, it just really ain't that deep. Like, it's really not that deep. Like, what we talking, like, the fact that this man didn't come to Deb Atney's party, who is she? The Pope? Like, who is Deb Atney? No shade to Deb Atney, but who was Deb Atney for me to be like, oh, I gotta let this man, I gotta let Cisco know, oh, I ain't coming to Deb's party because of this and this and this and that. Who is, I get that Deb helped his career. That ain't saying a lot because he's on Love and Hip Hop. But, yeah. Whatever, right? So then we go to the next day and we see Mimi and Stevie. They're talking, right? So Stevie is telling Mimi how, you know, he is back in Atlanta. He's, you know, he's not back in Atlanta, but he's, you know, he's in Atlanta more now than he was before, right? So he's saying that, you know, he's not been the best to Eva, right? So he's saying that with him now being back in Atlanta, you know, being in Atlanta part-time, right? That he wants to go forward and he wants to be, I guess, a better father to Eva, right? And Mimi is like, okay, Stevie, I've heard this plenty of times before, right? You guys remember I told you last week that you guys know that Ty has said that Stevie J really only came around Eva when the cameras were on for Love and Hip Hop Atlanta to be filming, right? So Mimi says, you know, going forward, it's not, you know, I've heard, you know, you've done this before, right? You've told me that I'm gonna do different, I'm gonna be better, right? You talked about it. You've talked about it, but what is the saying? You know, changed behavior is what, you know, we look for, right? You can apologize, you can say that you changed, right? But the best thing that you can show me that you've changed is your actions. Stop giving me words. Show me that make your actions align up with your words, right? So that's what Mimi is saying to Stevie J, right? Stop running your mouth and saying that you're gonna do this. Actually put your words into action. That's what I want to say, but I went around it, right? So then we see Cisco and rubbing pennies next. They're talking, right? And they talking about this whole Safari situation once again, right? And the main thing that's being said among the men to Cisco is that Cisco's timing was terrible. And like I just said a few minutes ago, who the is Deb? I mean, you guys know I like Deb, but who is Deb Atney for somebody to say, like, Cisco talking about how it made him look? Now, if people had reached out to you and said, hey, Cisco, so you and Safari, y'all are both on Love and Hip Hop New York together, right? So if you can get him down here, give us your word that you're going to get Safari here to this party. That's one thing, right? But that's not what happened. That's not what you said happened. So I'm still slightly confused with Cisco and what the situation is, because it just doesn't make a lick of sense to me, right? It just makes absolutely no sense. But hey, It is what it is, right? And then Rich was like, rubbing pennies, was like, it looked like you was checking him. He says, I was checking him. Why are we checking him behind Deb Hatney? Once again, why are we checking him behind this party situation? It just doesn't, to me, it's stupid. It makes no sense. And like actually, like Peter and Rubbin Pennies both said, it was the timing. That man was going through this shit with his wife. Why are you gonna then come over here and start some shit with him? Doesn't make sense, right? But we're gonna put a pause right there and we're gonna move forward, you guys. So next up, we see Marcus, we see Safari, and we see Peter. They're working out, right? I just want to know who made Marcus the resident therapist, who made Marcus the resident, the relationship expert, the relationship guru. Who made Marcus that, right? Because didn't in the first episode or the second episode, didn't Brooke say that Marcus had cheated on her when she was pregnant with her daughter, right? So Marcus needs to be getting some advice from someone else too, right? And as I've stated, the men on this show, they don't have a great track record, especially the straight men. They don't have great track records on this show. Peter has a terrible track record. I wouldn't take relationship advice from Jewels. I wouldn't take relationship advice from Booby. I would not take relationship advice from Cisco. I wouldn't take it from Stevie. I wouldn't take it from, like the straight men on this show. They all have terrible relationships with women. Let's keep it real. Every last one of these men that are on here have shitty relationships with women. Not a one. Even so, I wouldn't take. So I just want to know what qualifies Marcus as the relationship expert or guru, right? But he is telling Safari that this whole situation with Erica, that he needs to be more accountable for the situation, right? So Safari says that, the blogs made the shit up, right? That it's not real. And I'm like, so a blog just ran with a story that they made up? Okay, whatever. But then Marcus was continuously talking to him, right? And then in that moment, he's like, oh, what Marcus is saying, it makes a lot of sense to me. So yeah, I was the one that sent the girl the flowers, but me and Erica, we're not together. We're going through the divorce, but it's like, so a minute ago, you want to say that the blogs made the shit up, but now you sent her the flowers, which I get it. I get it. You and Erica are going through a divorce, right? So you feel like, hey, we're going through a divorce. My thing when it comes to people who are separated or divorced, going through a divorce, right? That's fine if you date other people, right? But what I would say is when it comes down to that, don't get involved with someone if you have the potential to go back and get with your spouse, right? That's when I think that you should not, that's when I say, if you know for a fact that your marriage is done and that you're not going back to your husband or your wife, then it's fine to date, right? Some people will say the opposite, wait until your divorce is finalized to start dating, right? But I would say if you know for a fact that that relationship is done, then it's okay to, I don't have an issue. There's no issues with you moving on, right? But if there's still some kind of, there's just still this little bit of something there where you could potentially go back to your spouse, don't put someone else through that situation, right? Because it's just gonna be messy once the shit hits the fan, right? But and with Eric and Safari, like I've been saying, we know that Eric and Safari are still together. Eric and Safari at this point are just using this as their storyline, and we just running with it, right? I don't give a shit. So then we move over and we see Cisco and Sin, right? So Cisco and Sin, they're finally discussing this situation with Sin's song, right? And for once, Cisco looks like he's sober. He looks sober, so I'm like, okay, this conversation may actually go correct, right? So he says, so it's Sin, it's Bobby, nope, it's Sin, it's Jonathan, and it's Cisco, right? So Cisco, he sits down, right? And so he apologizes to Sin for his behavior the night before, right? He apologized for that, and she's like, okay, cool. So then they get into the conversation about the song. So he's still saying, so what Cisco is saying is that, when they did the song together, that he felt like that they were recording each other, right? And when you're recording someone, it's so you cool would foot in the bill for this. Like if you go out on a date with someone and you dating them, you cool with paying for this and paying for that and paying for this and paying for that, right? And then, he says when Sin said that she wanted to just keep it strictly business, that's when he hit her with the invoice, right? And Sin made some very valid points, right? Because what Cisco said, I'm like, you're saying that it wasn't this, but if you listen to what you're saying, it's exactly what she said, right? So, and it's cool, right? When you go into the studio, when you do any kind of business with people, you know that you have to pay them for what, if you're especially in music or anything where it's not someone else that's backing you, when there's not like a machine that's behind you backing you, you end up having to foot that bill, right? If you're going to a studio to do a song with somebody, you got to pay the sound, you got to pay the engineers, you got to pay the producers, you got to pay the people who mix and master, you got to pay everybody who is involved with that song. But if you have a label behind you, the label foots that bill, right? But since Sin is an independent artist, she was footing that bill, right? And I think Sin would have been cool with that if Cisco, or if they had came in, even if they had and the thing, I think big issue is with this situation is, doesn't sound like there was a contract involved with this, right? Because like, let's say that Cisco could have said, hey, I'll do this, right? This is for a charity. You get your proceeds from the charity and I get my proceeds from the charity. But he didn't say that, right? But also, like I said, when it comes down to business, you do know that when you go into it, and I'm sure Sin probably had that idea of maybe he'll take some kind of cut from what whatever it sells. I don't know, to be quite honest with you guys. But when he made his advances toward her, and she said she wanted to keep it strictly business, that's when he hit her with the invoice, right? And she said, had I given you some, then you would have never hit me with that invoice. And Cisco says that's not what it is. But Cisco, just listen to what you said just a few minutes ago. You were saying to her that you thought you were courting her. So with you courting her, you were cool with the fact of paying for it out of your pockets, right? But then when she hits you with the, oh, let's keep this strictly business and platonic, that's when you want to hit her with the invoice for paying for this, paying for that, paying for this and this and this and that, right? So by what you said, that is what she, I mean, that is what it sounds like. Oh, since I didn't give you no pussy, then, you want to hit me with this invoice. So he apologizes to her, right? And she said that they're good. And he says, and last night I transferred the song over to you. She says, I don't even want the song anymore, Cisco, right? She was like, I got my new single out. All my music now that I make is for my brother, so I don't want the song. But, they make up with each other and they're good. So you guys, we're going to pause here and we're going to move forward. And actually, we're going to wrap up the episode. So you guys know everyone has their days where they do their events, right? So today's event is going to be Jonathan. So Jonathan is going to be, educating everyone on gay conversion therapy. So if you guys are not familiar with gay conversion therapy, because I really wasn't familiar with it until Jonathan actually mentioned it on Love and Hip Hop. I had heard about it, but I never knew what it was, right? So I didn't even know that it was a legal thing, right? But it's legal in some states. They didn't say which states it was legal in, right? But there is therapy for people, I guess if someone in your, if like a parent believes that their son, daughter might be gay, lesbian, bisexual, trans, whatever, right? They'll send them to these conversion camps, and where it'll convert them to being what the parents want them to be, straight, heterosexual, right? And honestly, what it sounds like shock therapy. If you guys, it sounds like shock therapy, where because Jonathan said they shot him up with testosterone. I don't know what testosterone was supposed to do to him. He said all it did was make him feel numb. And then, they would put, I guess they would, like when they, if you guys have ever had like, people, when they put things on your muscles to try to, because I've had somebody put some stuff on my muscles and, give me jolts. Oh, that's what it was. I remember. It wasn't But I'm pretty sure it was a thing where they were emulating childbirth for me, and you could feel it, right? But hey, that's neither here nor there. But I feel like it's things where they put little things on you, and they just shock you, right? If you don't like, if they ask you, I guess like if it's a man, right? If they put a picture of another man and they'll ask you, like, do you find him attractive or something? I don't know. I don't know how they do it. I would never want to know how they do it. I would never. That just is it's inhumane for one. Very inhumane. Like, you're gonna shock someone because they're different than what you are. I don't get it. It's torture. So they have this guy there named Matthew from I forgot what the name of the foundation is, but it's there to help young LGBTQ plus people, right? Now, Amina, because everybody was cheering Jonathan on. He was talking about when you guys see me post these things, asking you to sign petitions and stuff. You guys please sign those petitions, right? I don't know why Amina felt the need. I think Amina was trying to get back at Peter for making her look, how, for the shit that he's done to her on Love and Hip Hop over the years. I think that might have been what Amina was doing. But Amina was like, Peter, your son wants to be a ladybug for Halloween and you told him no. And I was like, oh. And then Peter said, which when Peter said that, he his son went to the girls section, got a ladybug costume, and it had stockings with it. Peter, when it comes to kids, right, especially when Amina said that the son is 5 years old, right? A 5-year-old doesn't know the difference between that kind of shit. Like, he saw a ladybug costume. He wanted to be a ladybug. Let him be a ladybug. I don't see anything wrong with that, right? But then Tara did say that, they do support their kids in whatever they want. If he wanted to be a ladybug, she said she would have let him be a ladybug, right? But she said the thing is, he picked it out, but then he also then wanted to be something else for Halloween. So that didn't really factor in, right? So that's why I say that when it comes to, Amina, I think Amina was just trying to get back at Peter for everything that he's done to her, right? Now, Peter, you do know that ladybugs are male and female, right? Just saying, ladybugs are male and female, but hey, it is what it is. So then, Peter, he was like, you're not gonna make a moment out of this, Amina. You're not. So Peter storms off, right? So then the men follow behind Peter, but then Tara got up and she defended Peter, right? That's when she said that the son, he picked up the costume, yes, but I guess he must have put it back down. He wanted to be something else. So there was really no issue at that point about him being a ladybug versus not being a ladybug, because he chose not to be the ladybug, right? So so then Zell decided to get his ass up and say something, right? And Bobby was like, Bobby got up and said, kids don't know, especially at 5 years old, they don't know the difference between that's for a girl and that's for a boy. They just see shit and they just want to get it, right? They just want it. They just see the shit and they like, oh, I like that, right? Like, what are we talking about at this point, right? I just didn't get it. Like, I didn't get it. Like, I'll tell you guys about me. Like, if you guys know me, you guys know I love Power Rangers, right? Love the Power Rangers. My favorite show. It's my favorite kids show of all time, right? Favorite kids show. Favorite. So me as a kid, my favorite Rangers on, and it was when I was when it first came out, it was MMP or Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, right? So my favorite Rangers on Mighty Morphin were Kimberly and Trini, not Kimberly and Trini, Kimberly and Tommy, right? Those were my two favorites. And, I always I had a Kimberly action figure. It was a head flip. So her head would flip from Kimberly to the Pink Ranger. Then I still have it. I still have this big, huge stuffed version of Kimberly, right? At the time, she was my height, right? We were the same height, but I'm taller than her now. But she is like almost life size, right? My mom bought it for me, and people, I had some people say, why would they, why get that for him? That's a girl. The reason that I wanted Kimberly is because I liked her, like literally liked Kimberly. Like, I had like she. If you guys ask me, who, like that was really my first crush. Kimberly from Power Rangers was my very first crush. That was the only reason why I wanted that toy, because it was Kimberly and I loved Kimberly. Like I was in love with Kimberly as a kid. So as adults, I think some adults attribute, that, oh, that's pink, that's for girls, or oh, that's, just attribute that to that. But for me as a kid, it had nothing to do with the fact that of wanting to be a girl or anything like that. It just had everything to do with the fact that I was, as a little boy, attracted to her. That's all it was as a kid for me. I was just attracted to Kimberly. That's all it was. The attraction to her. And I think that's what it was for every, because I love every, I can think of every Pink Ranger in Power Rangers history. I've loved all of them, and I think it's literally just been that I was attracted to him, and I didn't know that as a little boy that's what it was drawing me toward, was the attraction toward him. I didn't realize that as a kid, but as I got older, I realized, okay, you're attracted to them. You think they're cute. You think they're, well, even as a little boy, I knew Kimberly was cute, but hey. So yeah, I agree with Bobby. But then Zell comes in, talking about, that's why we had a men in the house, so that they can teach the boys how to be boys. Like I had a real nigga who raised me. Zell. I'm finna pause here because I don't even need my notes. I don't even need my notes for this part because I just got to talk about Zell. So Zell, a real nigga raised you, right? He told you what it was like to be a man, but you don't act like what a quote unquote man is, because you're feminine for one. You're on OnlyFans, and on OnlyFans, you twerking, you busting it wide open for any nigga that'll let you, you busting it wide open for basically any nigga, right? But you were raised by a real nigga, and that real nigga taught you what it was like to be a real nigga. But once again, and then let's go back to when you was wearing the motherfucking crop top. Would a real nigga wear a crop top? A real nigga gonna wear a crop top up here with his gut hanging out? Yeah, a real nigga gonna wear a crop top. A real nigga gonna do OnlyFans with niggas busting it wide open, right? Is that what we talking? Is that where we at, Zell? Is that where we are, right? Is that where we are? Because let's go back to your first season of Love and Hip Hop Hollywood. You came on there as Moniece and Masika's overly flamboyant gay BFF, right? You came on there involving yourself in all the women's drama, right? You involved yourself in that, but you were raised by a real nigga that taught you how to be a real man. Am I missing something? Like, I'm missing a whole lot of shit. That real nigga must have taught you. He must didn't know how to be a real nigga his damn self. Just saying. Because, the way you portrayed yourself on your first season of Love and Hip Hop Hollywood, and the way that you portray yourself on social media, and then you come on here with this whole persona, this whole different persona. And then let's not forget how do y'all see how he acts when he's with Paris? Oh God, that girl, she is coming. Paris is coming next week, and I cannot with Paris. Y'all know I don't like her ass. Paris annoys the shit out of me. But yeah, like, I just question, like, so what did your dad really teach you? Like, what did he teach you? I'm confused. What the nigga teach you? How to be toxic? How to not be comfortable with who you are? Like, I'm kind of confused in my mind. I just can't wrap my mind around the inner workings of what Zell's thinking. Actually, I don't really care to try to understand Zell's logic, but it's some dumbass logic, right? Now, once again, I got a question about Erica. When the fuck did Erica Mena engulf herself in the black community? When did Erica become black? Because she keeps talking about this, in our community, how, black men can't be free to express their real selves. Again, Erica, when did you become black? I just have a question about when she became black. I just don't know. When did Erica Mena become a black woman? When did she ever identify as a black woman? If y'all can tell me when Erica Mena became black. I mean, I know that, what is she, Dominican, Cuban, Puerto Rican, something like that. I mean, I know that some of them don't always want to accept that they're black, but when did Erica accept her blackness? When did Erica become an Afro-Latina? It feels like so many, especially on VH1 Latino women, it feels like a lot of them started saying Afro-Latina after Amara La Negra came out and said she was Afro-Latina. Because, Evelyn Lozada never said she was Afro-Latina before. That was her way of excusing her saying nigga this, nigga that, nigga, right? That was Evelyn's way of, coming up with a good excuse for her saying nigga. Erica, I ain't never once heard this heifer say she was a black woman or Afro-Latina. Never heard it, right? So Bobby and Zell actually got into it with each other, right? And, they separated. So Zell, he went and talked to Jonathan because when Jonathan and that guy Matthew was talking about conversion therapy, the camera kept panning over to Zell, and Zell's face was like, he looked like he was not interested in it. Everyone else was interested in it, but Zell was the one person that looked like he was just disinterested in it from the jump, right? But Zell pulled Jonathan to the side. He apologizes to him. And for me, honestly, when you look at Zell, that is just Zell dealing with some internal shit that he has to work out with himself. That is that internal homophobia, right? He is not comfortable. He can say he's comfortable with it, but nigga, no, you ain't. Because if you come, like you've been on this show, right? You said that Bobby and Jonathan were too gay for you, right? You got an issue with them talking about gay shit in front of the likes of a goddamn Joel Santana and them teeth and that lisp that you has got. Like, you worried about Joel Santana. You worried about these niggas that objectify the fuck out of women and mistreat women and dog women outright. But you worry about these niggas. The Creep Squad, Peter, Rich, and Cisco. All three of them motherfuckers. Let's take Peter, for example. Peter ain't done shit right by none of the women in his life, right? Let's be honest with that. Peter has done all the women dirty in his life. Rich, what woman has he been with that he's done right? The only woman, actually, no, I was about to say he did Olivia, right? But even with Olivia, he didn't do Olivia. He didn't do right by Olivia, right? He didn't do right by Olivia. Cisco definitely ain't worth shit, right? Marcus. Then again, Brooke said he cheated on her. So yeah, I don't get why. Like, if these niggas can talk about all the bitches that they smashing, because that's how niggas talk. If they can talk about all the bitches that they smashing, all the hoes that they smashing, right? Why can't you talk about the niggas that you smashing or smashing you? Like, the fuck? Exactly. It makes no sense, right? But he apologizes to both him and he apologizes to Bobby, right? Zell, go get some help. That's all I gotta say to you, buddy. Go get some goddamn help because you need it. Your ass needs some help because I just don't feel like you're 100% comfortable with who you are as a person, as a man, as a whatever. I don't give a fuck. I said it. If you guys don't like it, it is what it is. These are my opinions, and I ain't gonna change my opinion about how I feel about Zell. Zell is just not happy with who he is. Crop top, I'm gonna say it one more time, my nigga. A crop top. What real nigga wearing a crop top? I'm a real nigga, but I got a crop top on. I'm a hard ass nigga. Nigga, what? But hey, Let me know what you guys thought about the overall episode. Please leave your comments in the comment section below, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications so you guys are notified when I drop anything else. Share the video, you guys. And until the next one, please stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves. Remember to wash your hands, wear a mask, socially distance. You guys be blessed. And I'll see you guys later. Don't have anything to do tonight? Yeah, we got Our Kind of People comes on tonight. The season finale of Our Kind of People comes on tonight. And something else comes on. The Oval. I think that's it. I believe that's it. You guys, I haven't watched Kings of Napa, so I'm just going to go ahead and say that if Kings of Napa get a season 2, we'll review season 2 of Kings of Napa. But as far as season 1 goes, it won't happen for me. It won't be on my channel. I'm sorry, you guys. And Queens, I'm gonna get back to that. I'm just got to catch up on Queens. So when Queens come back in 2 weeks, right? I think we'll be back to we'll be back to review on Queens. But hey, that's it, you guys. Peace out.